It's exclusive video of killer dentist James Craig mixing up a poisonous protein shake in his kitchen. His victim? His wife of 23 years. A minute later, he comes out apparently holding a syringe he had loaded with what the prosecutor calls the final fatal dose of cyanide.
For days, Dr. James Craig stood by his wife's hospital bed, watching as doctors desperately fought to save her. But was he really trying to save her or finish what he started? Because while he played the role of the heartbroken husband flawlessly, holding Angela's hand, comforting their kids, and texting friends that he was terrified, James knew exactly what was killing her. In fact, he had planned every detail. And when his plan finally worked, he did something even colder. He tried to make it look like Angela had done it to herself.
Nobody in their right mind would ever think I would kill myself before I killed you.
This is the chilling case of the dentist husband poisoning his loving wife with cyanide and blames her mental health for it. At first glance, the Craigs were the kind of family you'd see in a toothpaste commercial. 6 kids, a big cozy house in Colorado, and those perfect family photos where everyone is smiling like life couldn't possibly go wrong. Angela was the heart of it all. Kind, creative, active in her church, just radiating warmth. And James, the successful dentist with a charming smile and model husband energy.
My name is Dr. Jim Craig, and I practice at Summerbrook Dental Group.
They seemed like the perfect couple.
But behind that clean-cut image, something dark was festering. Money was quietly disappearing. His dental practice was falling apart, the bills were piling up, and the debts deep.
Dentistry can be expensive, dentistry can be scary, dentistry can be uncomfortable.
He started taking secret trips to Vegas, gambling what little they had left. Then came the affairs, flirty messages, late nights, and a woman in Texas who thought he was divorced. Meanwhile, Angela could feel the change. She confided to her sister that she felt trapped, like the man she had built her life with wasn't the same man sleeping beside her. And get this, while he was kissing her goodnight and saying "I love you," he was also researching how to end his marriage permanently.
He researched poisons in the days leading up to his wife's death.
Then came March 6th, 2023. Angela suddenly fell ill, dizzy, nauseous, weak, the kind of sick that doctors couldn't explain. Her tests came back clean, so they sent her home with some meds and told her to rest. But within days, she was back again, only this time she was worse. Her friends were worried, the doctors and nurses were confused.
The doctors and nurses are trying, they're conducting tests, they just cannot figure out what is ailing this relatively normal and healthy 43-year-old woman.
Meanwhile, James was right there, playing the concerned, terrified husband, telling doctors to do everything to save her. To everyone else, he looked like a man desperate to help his wife. But behind the scenes, something sinister was already in motion. Because just as Angela's health began to spiral, a mysterious package showed up at James's dental office. A small box that would soon tear apart his perfect image and expose those horrifying truths behind his wife's sudden, unexplained illness. The package arrived at James Craig's dental office on March 13th. Small, ordinary looking, but carrying a secret darker than anyone could have imagined. A few days earlier, James had texted his office manager, Caitlin, with a very specific warning. A personal package was coming, and under no circumstances should anyone else open it. Noted. But by the time Caitlin went to grab it, her stomach dropped. Someone had already torn it open. She panicked, resealed the box, and handed it over to James. But in the process, she caught a quick glimpse of the label, and that one word made her freeze: potassium cyanide. Now, Caitlin wasn't a chemist, but come on. She knew that that didn't sound like something you'd want lying around a dental office.
Why are we getting potassium cyanide to a Colorado dentist's office?
James did not offer an explanation, didn't even look nervous. He just thanked her, wrapped the package in brown paper, and left. The way he carried it close to his chest, eyes down, it was like he knew no one else should ever see what was inside. That night, curiosity got the best of her. Caitlin sat down, opened her laptop, and typed potassium cyanide. The search results made her blood run cold. Headache, dizziness, nausea, low blood pressure. The exact symptoms Angela Craig had been suffering from for days. Then it hit her. Just before Angela's first hospital trip, James had bragged about making his wife a special protein shake, playing the part of the loving husband. But now that little gesture looked deadly. Could her boss, the charming, respected dentist, actually be poisoning his wife? Caitlin tried to convince herself it was just a coincidence. But deep down, Caitlin knew something dark was brewing beneath the surface. And she was right, because what was happening inside that perfect family was about to explode in the most shocking way imaginable. By March 15th, Angela Craig was barely breathing. This was her third hospital visit in just 10 days. And this time, the doctors knew something was terribly wrong. Angela wasn't just sick anymore, she was dying. Meanwhile, Ryan Redfern, James's longtime friend and business partner, got the call. He and his wife, Michelle, rushed to the hospital, their hearts racing. Ryan wasn't just any friend. He was the man who had helped James rebuild his failing dental practice when it was about to collapse, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to learn on the way there. As they drove, Michelle's phone rang. It was Caitlin, the office manager. Her voice was trembling as she revealed what had been eating at her for days. She told them that James had been sneaking into the office after hours, waiting for a personal package that came with a hazardous materials label. Inside, she said, was potassium cyanide. Ryan's stomach dropped. The symptoms Caitlin described matched Angela's perfectly. Suddenly, everything started to make sense. The strange illness, the late nights, James' overly concerned behavior, it all fit in together in the most horrifying way imaginable. When Ryan finally arrived at the hospital, Angela was unresponsive, hooked up to machines that were struggling to keep her alive. And there was James pacing the room with tears in his eyes, playing the role of the devastated husband. To anyone else, he might have looked heartbroken, but to Ryan, it looked like an act. He quietly pulled a nurse aside and said the words that changed everything. "You need to test her for poisoning now." The nurse froze, then nodded. Within hours, 911 had been called and the hospital quietly turned into a crime scene.
I'm one of the forensic nurses here at University Hospital. We have a suspected cyanide, potassium cyanide.
Ryan and Michelle left the hospital shaken but certain about what was coming next. Minutes later, Ryan's phone started buzzing. It was James, furious, panicked, and demanding to know why Ryan had spoken to the staff. He begged them not to involve the police. But Ryan didn't back down. He confronted James directly about the package and the cyanide. At first, James tried to lie, claiming the box contained a ring he had bought for Angela.
Ryan says it's not a ring. We know what was in there. And I mean, this is a testament to Ryan Redfern.
When Ryan pressed him further, James finally admitted the truth. Yes, it was cyanide, but he claimed that Angela had asked him to order it and that he didn't think she would actually take it. Ryan had heard enough. He told James to stop talking and to get a lawyer. Not long after that call, Angela suffered a massive seizure. Doctors did everything they could, but her body had already endured too much. She was placed on life support in the ICU, and 3 days later, on March 18th, Angela Craig was pronounced brain dead and was taken off the life support.
I was in complete shock and complete disbelief. In my head, I'm like, this is crazy, it's not true.
And just like that, the mask finally slipped. The story that had started as a heartbreaking mystery suddenly became something far more chilling, a premeditated murder hiding in plain sight. After Angela's death, investigators wasted no time. The autopsy revealed what everyone had feared. She'd been killed by a lethal dose of cyanide and a lethal dose of tetrahydrozoline. That alone was damning, but detectives needed proof. And what they uncovered erased every shred of doubt about who was behind it. They got a warrant and seized everything James Craig owned. His phone, his laptop, even the office computer he had been sneaking onto late at night. What they found was a digital trail of obsession and planning so detailed, it looked like something straight out of a true crime documentary. His search history had told the entire story. He'd Googled things like, how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human? And is arsenic detectable in an autopsy? Over and over again. He even watched YouTube videos titled Top 5 Undetectable Poisons that show no signs of foul play. And of course, sitting right there at number 1, cyanide. Investigators also discovered that James had created multiple fake email accounts to buy toxic substances online. One account had been used to order the same potassium cyanide Caitlin had seen at the office. Another had been used to search for arsenic, homemade poisons, and chemical suppliers in the Denver area. But the part that really made everyone's skin crawl, while all of this was happening, James was still texting Angela like nothing was wrong, calling her babe, checking on her symptoms, pretending to be a supportive husband.
There were texts that would suggest a very supportive, loving relationship.
And then came the text that broke everyone's heart. Angela had messaged him the morning after drinking that protein shake. She wrote, "I feel drugged." And James replied, "Given our history, I know that must be triggering. Just for the record, I didn't drug you." Those 4 words, "just for the record," would come back to haunt him. When investigators searched the Craigs' home, they found everything that tied the story together. Multiple tubs of protein powder, workout shakers, and 2 unlabeled plastic bags filled with a white, powdery substance. Tests later confirmed what everyone feared. It was toxic. But the final nail in the coffin came from James's own home security system. Hidden in that footage was the undeniable truth. James Craig was caught on camera pouring poison into Angela's protein shakes.
It's exclusive video of killer dentist James Craig mixing up a poisonous protein shake in his kitchen. His victim, his wife of 23 years.
Even worse, there was footage of Angela confronting him, her voice shaking as she asked why he seemed so cold and dismissive about her illness. At one point, she even told him it was his fault that doctors treated her differently.
It's your fault they treated me like I was a cyber. Like I did it to myself. And like nothing I said could be believed.
You can hear the pain in her voice, the disbelief of a woman realizing that the person who was supposed to love and protect her could not care less. And like that's not already horrific enough, investigators discovered that even while Angela was in the hospital, hooked up to machines and fighting for her life, James was still poisoning her.
As staff go about their work, Dr. Craig leaves his wife's room and heads into a bathroom. A minute later, he comes out apparently holding a syringe he had loaded with what the prosecutor calls the final fatal dose of cyanide.
Yeah, that is straight up evil. At that point, detectives had more than enough. James Craig hadn't just killed his wife. He researched it, rehearsed it, and executed it step by step. But the most chilling part, while Angela was lying in the hospital bed fighting for her life, James was secretly planning a romantic getaway with another woman. Her name was Karen, an orthodontist from Texas. On paper, she looked like a colleague, just another professional contact. But once investigators read through their emails, the truth came spilling out. While Angela was in the hospital, James was busy sending love notes to Karen. Their messages weren't just flirty, they were romantic, intimate, and filled with plans for the future. He called her my love and told her how much he missed her. But here is where things got darker. Detectives discovered that James had booked plane tickets for Karen to visit him the very same week Angela was hospitalized. Even worse, those tickets were purchased on the exact same day his cyanide order was delivered. Just imagine that. The same day he bought the poison that would end his wife's life, he was also buying flight tickets for his girlfriend. When police reached out to Karen, they learned she had filed for divorce months earlier and genuinely believed that James was already separated. She had no clue she was entangled in a murder plot. In one of their final emails, she wrote, "I'm sorry for everything that's happening. I wish I could be there with you."
I don't like that label. If I had known what was true, I would not have been with this person.
But even as the evidence piled up, James didn't stop lying. When investigators confronted him, he tried to twist the story, painting Angela as unstable, claiming she had self-harming tendencies and that she might have done this to herself. It was a desperate move, and not even a new one. According to Ryan, James had pulled the same stunt before. Back in 2021, when his dental practice was collapsing and his marriage was falling apart, James told Ryan he wanted a divorce. Then, not long after, he began telling people that Angela had overdosed in 2022 and that he had saved her. But police couldn't find any medical record, report, or trace of that incident. It was all a story, one more attempt to rewrite history and make himself look like the hero. Detectives weren't convinced. They decided to go straight to the people who knew Angela best, her 6 children. Each of them described their mom as happy, kind, and full of life. There were no signs of desperation, no erratic behavior, nothing that backed up James's version of events. That's when it hit investigators. James was not protecting Angela's legacy, he was protecting himself. Every word he said was calculated, every lie designed to buy time and sympathy.
Well, I think I have the information they're looking for, but I'm scared to death to share it without an attorney, so I'll go down there, but I don't want to talk to them.
But what they uncovered next made their blood run cold. Angela's sister came forward with a horrifying revelation. She told police that 5 or 6 years earlier, James had Angela once before. His excuse? He claimed he had been planning to end his own life and didn't want her to stop him. Investigators didn't believe that for a second. To them, it wasn't a tragic cry for help, it was a test run. Another piece in a long, manipulative pattern of control and deceit. James Craig hadn't just fooled his wife. He'd fooled everyone, his church, his friends, even his business partners. But what came next would take this case from twisted to absolutely deranged. Because even behind bars, James Craig still wasn't done scheming. Within 24 hours after Angela died, James was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and tampering with physical evidence. The judge set his bail at a jaw-dropping $10 million, and his trial was scheduled for December 2024. But even after his arrest, the story kept getting darker. A week later, investigators uncovered another layer to his motive. Angela had not 1, not 2, but 3 life insurance policies in her name. Prosecutors said it all pointed to one chilling truth. James wanted a new life with his mistress, his freedom, and Angela's money.
One of the oldest motives in the world. Other women.
And here's where it gets downright sinister. Even behind bars, James could not stop scheming. Prosecutors said he tried to bribe fellow inmates, offering them $20,000 each to make up a fake testimony and even kill Detective Olson, the lead investigator on the case. During a February 2025 hearing, prosecutors read out a letter James had written from jail, where he called Olson the worst, dirtiest detective in the world. But that wasn't all. They said James also reached out to his cellmate's ex-wife, offering her money to find people who'd lie in court, people who claim Angela planned to end her own life. And the worst part? He even tried to pull his own daughter into it, asking her to destroy evidence. She refused and later testified against him.
I'm supposed to be able to trust my dad. He was supposed to be my hero. And instead, he'll forever be the villain in my book.
By the time his trial began, the evidence was overwhelming. Prosecutors argued that James, a father of 6, had spent years cheating, lying, and manipulating, and finally killed his wife to start over. The defense tried to spin it, claiming Angela had taken her own life because of his infidelity, but no one bought it. After 2 tense weeks in court, the jury found James guilty on all charges.
We, the jury, unanimously and beyond a reasonable doubt, find the defendant, James Craig, guilty of murder in the first degree.
During sentencing, Judge Shea Whitaker did not hold back.
Dr. Craig unleashed a path of destruction as wide as a tornado and just as devastating.
James sat there in silence. No tears, no apology, nothing. The charming dentist who had once fooled everyone was finally exposed for what he really was. A cold, calculated killer who destroyed the very life he pretended to love. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. No parole, no second chances, just the silence of a cell.
She was strong, and she knew who she was. She could command a room just by entering it.
James Craig isn't the only husband who wore the mask of the perfect man while plotting something unthinkable behind closed doors. Because just when you think this case couldn't get any darker, there's another eerily similar and just as twisted case that we'll uncover next. It's a haunting reminder. Sometimes the real danger isn't a stranger lurking in the dark, it's the person sleeping right beside you.